In this section, we will introduce the layout of Matlab's default view, distinguish between a script and a function, and explore for loops. You are highly encouraged to have Matlab open while watching this video. Make sure that you can perform the skills in this video. They will be needed for upcoming assignments. Okay, so when you open Matlab, we are in the default view. This main area is called the command window. So you can type things like 1 + 1 and hit enter, and Matlab will give you an answer. And you can certainly do things like square root, and Matlab will give you an answer. Over on the left, there's a workspace, and so each time we entered in a command, Matlab produced an answer, and so the most recent value of answer is 1.4142, and there's many more digits of precision that Matlab is storing. It's only displaying 4 decimal places to the right of the decimal point. So for example, if you type in 1 + 3, now that answer changes to a value of 4. So this is a good place to keep track of what your variables are and what the values of those variables are set to. Okay, I'm going to clear the variables. Notice that I have no variables in the workspace. I'm going to clear my screen by typing CLC. Okay, right now I'm in the Matlab folder, and this is not a good place to store your program files. So you could go out to maybe your desktop or your documents area, and we'll go there and we'll make a directory. So I'm going to go make directory, MKDIR, and I'm going to call it Math 195. Notice that Math 195 shows up as a folder along the left-hand side of the screen. I can change directories by typing CD for change directory to Math 195. Okay, this is what you want to do. You want to make sure that the folder you're working in is where you save your files, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. Okay, so let's create a script, and also let's create a function. So if you go up here to the new button, notice that you've got a couple of different options. So there's a difference between a script and a function. Let's start with a script. Okay, so the first line of my script, I want to put a command line. Okay, so for the first line of my script, I'm going to put a comment, and comments are denoted with a %sign. So for the first comment, I'm going to put the name of my file, and I'm going to call this my new program. Scripts in Matlab end with a .m. I'm going to put another comment line, and then I'm going to say this program or this script will display 1 + 1 = 2. Okay, so let's make Matlab do that. We'll type DISP for display. We'll put this in quotes. 1 + 1 = 2. Now I can save this, and I want to save it with a particular name, so let's save as. I'm saving this in my Math 195 folder, and we've already agreed that the name of this is going to be called my new program.m. Okay, so if we list the directory contents of what's in Math 195, we see our program is there. Now let's run it. To run it, we'll type the name of our program. And that was totally unexciting, but it did do what we asked it. It displayed the result 1 + 1 = 2. Okay. All right. So I'm going to clear my screen. Let's go back and edit this program. So this time we'll let n = 2. Okay. And let's display n + 10. Notice that that's not in quotes because this is a numerical quantity. Let's save. Let's run our program. So notice what Matlab put as output now. It displayed the output 1 plus 1 equals 2, it displayed n equals 2, and then it displayed this result 12. This n equals 2 was just part of my script, and I don't really want that to display all the time. I mean, that's just kind of background information that's part of the program. So if we put a semicolon at the end of that line, this will suppress output. So I'll put a comment here. Notice that the semicolon suppresses output. Okay, let's save, clear the screen, run again. So now Matlab displays our 1 plus 1 equals 2, which was like a sentence, and it also displays the result n plus 10. Now maybe you're tired of displaying 1 plus 1 equals 2. We can comment that line out, save, run again, and notice now it only displays the result of adding n plus 10. Okay? So the next thing I'd like to talk about are for loops. Now you can write a for loop down here in the command window, but it's much more convenient to keep our work in a script, because this allows us to save it, to come back tomorrow and edit it again. It's reusable code. Anything here in the command window will disappear the next time I close down Matlab. Okay. So I'm going to create a new comment to denote this section explores for loops. Okay. So to do a for loop in Matlab, we will say for I equals 1 to 10. Let's display the value of I, and then I'm going to end. I'm no longer interested in this display n plus 10, so I'm going to comment that line out so that we're not confused by that sort of output. Let's save. Let's clear. Let's clear all. That will clear the n value. And now let's run our program again. So notice what Matlab did when it went through this for loop. It printed out each of the values. So each time we go through this for loop, we begin with I equals 1. That was printed out. We go through again. I increments up to 2. We print that out, and so forth. Okay. So let's look at a function. So I'm going to clear the screen. I'm going to clear all, and I'm just going to close this script by clicking on the red X. Go to New, Function. When you click on that, Matlab populates this editor with all of the syntax that we'll need. All right, so we need a function, and in this region we're going to put our output arguments. So I'm going to put salary as my output. I'm going to call the function by some sort of name. I'm going to call it my salary calculator. And the input argument is going to be the number of days that I work. Okay. Now, there is a comment section. This is a good place to describe what the function does. So let's do that. So my salary calculator computes my salary after a given number of days. You might want to list your assumptions here. You could say that you earn $100 per day, and maybe days is an integer, but we get the idea. Okay, so what's going to happen here is someone's going to type in my salary calculator, and they're going to feed in some input argument like, I worked 10 days. And what we want to do is we want to produce a total salary. And so if we earn $100 a day, this is going to be 100 times the number of days. I'm going to suppress the output. And that's all this function is going to do. Let's save. I'm going to save it as the exact same name as the function, my salary calculator. I'm going to clear my screen. And now I'm going to do my salary calculator. Let's just try a few things here. So what if I did 1 day of work? The answer is $100. Suppose I did 20 days of work, then I earned $2,000. Okay. So notice if you don't feed an input argument, you get an error message because this is a function and functions need to be fed an input argument and then they produce this output argument. Okay, so there's a distinction between scripts and functions. Functions require an input argument. Scripts, you can just run them like a program. So let's say you wanted to open one of these files, like my new program, you wanted to go back and work with that. If you double click that or you right click on it, it opens up here in the editor menu. And so you can have several different scripts that you're working on up here in the editor region. Okay, so now I'd like to look at a common issue that students report when they're first starting to program in Matlab. So suppose you've got a script here called my new program and you want to run this script and you get an error which says undefined function or variable, and you wonder how could that possibly be, because I see it right there and I've saved it and I know it exists. Well, what's going on here is that you're currently working in a folder called documents. All right, and this script is not in the folder documents, right? If you did a list of all the things in documents over here, no way is my new program listed there. My new program is sitting inside this Math 195 folder. So you either need to change directory to your Math 195 folder or you need to double click over here and that will get you into the Math 195 folder. If you go dir, it'll list all of the contents in that folder that you're currently in, and you see, oh, there's my new program, and now if we try to run it, everything works smoothly.